The NCAA on the balance beam. LSU starts out on the vault where they are second in the nation. So tremendous there as well. This is Lexi Zeiss. Been tremendous in the leadoff spot for LSU all season. It's time to step it up even more here at the championship.
Yeah, head coach Jake Clark said this vault is important for the success of their team, and she nailed it.
A good start for LSU, moving quickly over to the bars. Chenge Bakshkoy for Georgia in the leadoff spot. She's a senior out of Budapest, Hungary.
And she competed in the 2024 Paris Olympic Games. You can really see that Olympic form. Look at her toe point, knees and toes glued together the entire time, right on top of the bar as the judges are looking for. And just that little bobble right there could be up to 1/10 of a deduction for that. Great start.
Keep an eye on that Bulldog team. They have quite the storied history, but looking to get back to the top of the mountain. They've made tremendous strides this season. Now the Gators, #1 in the nation on balance beam. This is Skylar Drazer, the junior. Starting on beam, you'd think would be tough, but the Florida Gators have seemed to thrive in this spot.
Yeah, they said that they were actually cheering when they found out they got to start on this event. They also set a program record here, and Skylar Drazer was in that leadoff spot, scoring a 9.95, so she's capable of a big number.
Stanford is the 4th team in this session. They are starting on the floor exercise. This is Sienna Robinson, right hand of your screen. She's a junior out of Las Vegas.
Sienna told me she's working on not only gluing her legs together in the big tumbling passes, but also in her round off back handsprings. And that right there is the most difficult turn we're going to do. See, it's called a memel. It's so gorgeous, takes immense flexibility.
Skylar Drazer showing so much steadiness, so much composure. That was phenomenal. No wobbles in that beam routine.
Yeah, Florida came into the venue, cranking the music, singing, loose, a lot of smiles from the get-go here today. We'll see if those are for real and they can keep that looseness throughout.
Vibes are high, John.
Sienna, the ACC Specialist of the Year. 9.8375. I told you there'd be no more numbers behind that decimal place. That's Lexi Zeiss's score. This is Connor McLean. Important vault here for the Tigers.
Big test. She's doing her Chenko layout full. Max score 9.95 here. Really good vault in the air. We see her typically drill the landing, but you gotta assume she didn't quite get the block off the table from her arm that's had some soreness. You see her arm twist a little early, still gets a good amount of block off the table, just wasn't quite solid on the landing. Probably about that 1/10 deduction on the landing.
Yeah, head coach of the LSU Tigers, Jay Clark, talked about how that vault, ironically, is an important vault for them. Really can fire the team up, especially if she sticks the landing. Even though, as you mentioned, Sam, a 9.95 start, not a 10.0 start. Now over on the bars in the 2 spot, Addie Wall follows Bakshkoy's 9.8125.
Judges are looking for elbows straight the entire time. Nice job keeping her shoulders forward on that transition from the high bar to low. Hard to maintain the rhythm that you have in practice under the nerves and the pressure of this moment. Precise double layout, just that bend forward, 1/10 on that dismount.
Alyssa Arana, the junior out of Miami, Florida, in the 2 spot for them. Drazer a 9.85, I'm being told, is her score in the leadoff spot. Solid start score.
Back handspring layout, big step back. The fall is a 5/10 deduction, so she did not enter that 5/10 deduction, so really working to minimize deductions. That's the name of the game to advance to the finals.
Alana Walker, the sophomore from West Orange, New Jersey, right hand of your screen, following that 9.8125 from Robinson in the leadoff spot.
Great first tumbling pass on floor right there. Just a big step back. The judges do allow for a lunge, but I'm guessing they could take 1/2 because she had so much power. Good problem to have to over-rotate.
Alyssa finishing gainer full off the side. That's most likely the score that Florida's going to want to drop.
And what you'll notice on Stanford is their choreography on floor is just stunning. They really put on a show.
Choreographer Hallie Mazette was actually a freshman when I was a senior at UCLA, so I know her work well, and head coach Tabitha Yim said that this is her favorite floor routine she's ever done. It took them 4 years to buy into the characters and the story of the choreography.
Watch how high she gets. She'll kick open. Wow. Great correction from that just minor half a tenth in the beginning of the routine, like a pro.
So Alana Walker finishes up. Over on vault, Lexi Zeiss a 9.85, Connor McLean a 9.825. Lexi Zeiss's score was slightly changed, if you noticed. We dropped a few of those numbers past the decimal point, so went up ever so slightly. That can make a big difference. Here's the third vaulter for LSU. This is Victoria Roberts. A little different vault here.
Front pike calf still starts from that 10-0 start value. Oh, big step, hop, then a step, 2/10 deduction, most likely on that landing. That's where we're going to see the nerves kick in on that event, is the landing errors.
And a vault is an event where a small step can turn into a big step easier than on the other events. So important to control those landings. Georgia, Khalees Wolford in the 3 spot, 9.8 for wall. Wow, right before her.
Sam, that's right. That pack salto that Khalees just did is one of the best. Oh, and it looked like actually she couldn't get her legs on the bar because her hand slipped. She's going to do it again. If you're off on that, it's better that she took that extra swing. And she's been struggling, she said, to stick the dismount because she did hurt her ankle. Good job that she did not come off the bar. That's important for
part skill. So she's not going to get too much, maybe repeating of a skill, repetition of a skill, but not too much.
And I want to take this chance to just say, welcome to the show, Mary Jo. That's our
thanks,
rules
John.
analyst, 30 years as a judge, 20 years as a collegiate judge. Something new that we're bringing to the postseason has been great, and I know it's just going to keep getting better. So this is going to be a fun ride. Terralyn Wynn for Stanford on floor, following that 9.8375 from Walker. Scores building. That's what you'd like to see. The scores from the first gymnast to the end. You like to see them go up. That's what's happening for Stanford. For Florida, though, Sky Blakely following a 9.7 from Arana. Don't want to count 9.7s.
And I know we love to have some fun with these double layouts. That was so high and floaty. We'll get a minor deduction for stepping to the side. Judges want to see you step straight back.
Sky Blakely starting strong with a triple wolf turn. Actually downgraded that earlier in the season from a triple wolf turn to a double wolf turn. Both are extremely difficult. What I've noticed about this Florida team is that it's sometimes a blessing and a curse to have so many skills in your toolbox. So they've had to have a bit of a learning curve to figure out the right routine construction and how to optimize their score on each event. They've certainly figured it out since Sky has scored a perfect 10 earlier this year.
Yeah, you talk about the skills in the toolbox, Sam. Part of the reason is they are full of elite gymnasts, and Sky Blakely really epitomizes that. She's a world finalist on the balance beam. So here she is at the NCAA championship. She's one of the best in the entire planet on this event at one point in her career. So they are tremendous.
Sky finishing gainer layout full. I say get Florida back on track. Just seeing a wobble from them on beam means that it was a bit of a mistake. So she certainly did her job there.
Georgia's in their own spot where they need to step up. Khalees Wolford, a 9.5875. Do not want to count those scores. They're going to want to drop that. 3 gymnasts to go, starting with Joffrey Scott right here.
And this is a big test.
Beautiful.
She struggled on it in the SEC championships and yesterday in practice, but no issues today. Wow. Just was able to keep her elbows extended, shoulders open the entire time throughout that skill. Watch her legs. Beautiful. Just a half a tenth hop on that dismount.
Joffrey, a senior, first time at the NCAA championships. Big moment, not just for this Georgia Bulldog team, for some individuals as well. Victoria Roberts, a 9.725 for her vault in the 3 spot for LSU. This was moments ago, Kalia Lincoln. We talked about Kaylin Chio sticking vaults in the open, but nobody goes higher than Kalia Lincoln on this vault.
She's been a bit up and down on the landing because she is just so powerful. It's tough to control that amount of force coming into the floor. She's done much better, though, this year. And when she sticks it, man, it is a big score.
Oh, ask and you shall receive, Sam Pesek.
That was great.
Next up on floor exercise, Levi Young, Ruivivar for Stanford.
John, this season for Levi is a testament of personal strength. Before the beginning of her first collegiate season last year, she made the brave decision to step away and seek treatment for an eating disorder. She worked with the medical staff at Stanford to implement a slow plan back to her sport, and she's been a strong contributor all season. I spoke with her yesterday about her journey. She told me, I was nervous to share my story, but I want to help reduce the stigma around it. Asking for help, being brave enough to ask for help can impact the rest of your life. She also told me she hopes to pursue the Olympics in 2028 so she can have the experience as this version of Levi.
Thanks, Taylor. Yeah, definitely a great story and courageous athlete, and really a great gymnast as well. Been very important for the Stanford Cardinal team. MJ Frazier, left hand of your screen for the Gators, follows a 9.9125 for Sky Blakely. I was going to say the first score above a 9.9 in this competition, but Kalia Lincoln, 9.9625, flirts with that 10.
Yeah, well deserved. MJ Frazier on balance beam is always so dynamic and confident, but particularly on these landings, starting with her series, she's just had such a command over this balance beam routine.
And this floor routine from Levi is my favorite floor routine in all of NCAA. The choreography, I feel like I'm watching a Broadway show.
MJ finishing 1.5, stuck landing, too easy for her. She's a senior. She's scored a perfect 10 on balance beam in her career, and today she was fantastic.
Florida finding their groove. That happens so fast in real time. It's hard to catch. We have that advantage of slow-mo, though.
It's also very hard to squeeze your legs together when you're that fast and that quick in the air.
Holly Snyder on bars, following the 9.8125 from Scott. Stop the bleeding, if you will. 2 to go, including Snyder here. Amari Drayton, left hand of your screen, following that big vault from Lincoln.
Holly does a good job of squeezing her feet together the entire time.
Amari hoping these landings are contagious. I thought for a second she had that landing. 1 foot moved on the mat. What it's tough to see on the screen is just how high LSU gets off the table.
Score in the 9.7s there. So each one of these teams has a score in that score tower to the right. It's the lightly shaded score. That's the low score that they clearly want to drop. Scores in the 9.7s, and certainly anything below that not going to help you advance to the finals. Here's somebody who knows big gymnastics, Anna Roberts.
And John, it's to be expected because they're trying to qualify for the national championship. It's totally normal for these athletes to feel so nervous. So I'm not surprised that we've seen a little bit of mistakes.
Anna Roberts, the senior, ranked 5th in the country in the all-around. Kayla DiCello for the Gators, left hand of your screen, following the second score above a 9.9 in a row for the Gators, 9.925 for Frazier.
Scores are building from Florida, and we've seen from their success this season, this balance beam rotation is such a strength for them. So many of these teams get nervous heading the event, and not this Florida team.
Great routine for Anna Roberts. I didn't see any errors or deductions on those landings.
Yeah, this Florida team has the roster. You look at their lineup and the names and the credentials of them, and they are just unstoppable on paper. But this season has been a little up and down. They've been under expectations, if you will, given their roster for most of the season. But then March came, and they suddenly awoke. It was like the sleeping giant awoke, and the rest of the country just took a deep gulp and said, uh-oh, we might be in trouble.
Yeah, the big difference I'm noticing is when little hiccups happen. And if you saw the slight balance check after her series, the difference is they don't make that into a bigger mistake. They minimize all the deductions, and they forget about it. And that's why they're being so successful the second half of this season.
Let's jump over to the uneven bars as DiCello finishes up, and Taylor.
Autumn Rheingold getting going for Georgia. Georgia fans were hopeful to see Lily Smith back on bars this week. She suffered a foot injury at the end of regular season. Coaches told us she did everything she could to try and get back for this meet. It just wouldn't cooperate. She is in the corral with her teammates. She is only in a boot, no more scooter. Optimistic for the future for her.
Yeah, Taylor, man, can you imagine this Georgia team with her in the lineup as well? They've already done so much, it would have only gotten better.
Wow, that's going to be a ginormous score. That packed salto was exquisite.
Well, you guys are talking about Lily Smith. Autumn got a 9.975 last meet.
Here's Kaylin Chio now, #1 in the country on vault.
She is so good. She has this ritual. She looks 3 times to the right at her number before she locks in. Then she tells herself right there, be patient, let it come to you. Then she said she hopes for the best.
There it is again. Are you kidding me?
Whenever she hopes for the best comes to her. You see Dee Bro in the crowd. Look at it. It's rinse and repeat every time. Arms straight. She makes a little adjustment there at the end, but doesn't even blink when she lands.
There's no hope involved in that. She doesn't hope. Hope implies that there's an uncertainty about what might happen. And there is no uncertainty when it comes to Kaylin Chio. Anna Barbosu now in the anchor spot on floor exercise. You talk about international credentials. She competed for Romania at the Olympics in 2024. Won the bronze medal on the floor exercise. We all know that controversy, but she is tremendous here.
And opens up with a very difficult whip. It's a back handspring without hands into a double back.
Selena Harris Miranda, left hand of your screen, trying to anchor this beam lineup with a big score. Despite that 9-7, this could end up being a great number for the Gators to open with.
Selena's had 2 10s in the final 2 meets of the regular season. They both came in a 6-day span, so she's been heating up, waiting for this postseason, starting with that triple series handspring layout, back handspring, no movement.
And Anna on floor right now, 2.5 punch pike. Very difficult. Just that little hop. In elite, you have to stick every single tumbling pass, so I imagine it's a hard habit to break to lunge out of it. 9-9 on beam the entire season.
Yeah, and there's no major deductions I'm seeing so far. She looks so confident.
Barbosu finishing up that floor exercise routine. The controversy over the bronze medal with Jordan Childs, of course. We will see her later this evening in the evening semifinal.
Finishing round of 1.5. Just the small hop at the end. Not perfect today, but it was really good, and it's going to be a strong number for Florida.
Spot, especially because vault can open itself up to those deductions. Hard to score high. So I know we're not talking about winners versus second place, but good sign for LSU, especially wanting to advance to the finals. Here's Levi Young, Evivar from Stanford on vault, leading off.
Doing a Yurchenko full. The goal here is to minimize landings. You want to get rid of those hops because most of these vaults have really good positions in the air.
LSU over on the bars will lead off again with Lexi Zeiss, same athlete they led off in that first rotation. Stanford on vault, they've got to stick some vaults. I really feel like it's important. I know it's only the second rotation, but they are trying to catch the Gators. They've got to be really good there.
And Lexi Zeiss owns this opening leadoff spot for LSU. She gets the team started, gets them pumped up with good momentum. She turns really quickly on that pirouette. Going to do a full-in dismount. Critical for her that she sticks this dismount right here. Oh, just a 1/2 hop. Good start.
And this is important for LSU, too. They came into last year's championships #1 in the nation. And according to their coach, Jay Clark, they sleptwalked through the semifinals. I like to call it a cataclysmic sleepwalk, personally. But there weren't any major breaks. They just weren't sharp, and they ended up watching the finals. Here we are over on the beam. Georgia leading off with Brooke Lykowski.
Really strong triple series, and what you got to see about Brooke's beam routine is actually her smile throughout this routine. It's been such a focus for her. In the past, she said she would be nervous, but now she enjoys actually hearing her teammates yell for her and smiling throughout the routine.
Gabby Dizador, right hand of your screen for the Gators. One cleanup I want to just mention. I think I said .125 between LSU and Florida. It's actually .0125, virtually a tie.
And John, it's going to come down to these moments right here. Gabby Dizador really controlled that landing really well. To me, doesn't look like she gave anything away there.
Beam's been a bit inconsistent for Georgia, but when they're on, they can put up big numbers. Brooke scored a 9-9 in this leadoff spot just last meet.
Keep in mind, Georgia trying to make up just over 3/10 on the Florida Gators. So that's That's not insignificant, especially after one rotation. So they've got to try to keep it real close, try to steal it at the end possibly.
In this last tumbling pass for Gabby, I'm going to be watching her arms are going to fly out to the side on this last layout skill, almost as if her shoulder blades are being squeezed together. Nice control. Oftentimes, the equipment is on a stage, which we call podium in gymnastics, but can often make it more bouncier, but these athletes are controlling these landings so well.
This is Anna Barbosu for Stanford moments ago.
Doing a 10-0 start value, full vault. Oh, hanging on to that. But you see the under rotation. You can see she kind of eye rolled, and she knew the mistake right after she landed. Just didn't get her chest up enough.
Ashley Cowan in the 2 spot for LSU. I know this sounds ridiculous to say that's not a good start for Stanford on vault. Those first 2 vaults are both probably going to be in the 9.7s. That means they're going to count one of them. Again, when you're trying to beat LSU and Florida, you cannot count 9.7s.
And Ashley Cowan on bars has been doing that connection that we just saw from high bar to low bar for 8 years. It's so impressive, and watch the precision of this double layout dismount. Just could be up to 1/10 for that 1 step backwards. Very clean during that routine.
Yeah, consistency is usually her middle name, but she usually rocks that dismount. Scored a 9.9 or better in the last 8 meets. That dismount was probably a 1/10 deduction, so curious what the judges thought of the rest of the routine.
NCAA.com is your official online home for all NCAA championships. For more information, go to NCAA.com. Tonight at 9 on ESPN2 is Semifinal 2, by the way. Don't forget to tune into that. That will be another fantastic one. Oklahoma, Arkansas, Minnesota, and UCLA. Danny Ferris waiting to go on floor. We may have the judges a little slow coming in with that Gabby Dizador score. There it is, 9.8875. Great start score. Now, again, if you're Stanford in that 3rd spot, you just started with 2 9.7s, and meanwhile, Florida started with almost a 9.9. Doesn't take much to do the math on that. Not a good sign if that trend continues for the Cardinal.
And Danny Ferris has a career high of a 9.925. She's going to open up with a full twisting double back.
Left hand of your screen, sophomore Harley Tomlin for the Georgia Bulldogs. That Glykowski score, a 9.85, just coming in.
Harley has been so confident. You can see that her confidence has really grown throughout the season. Stepping up to do her handspring layout triple series. Hasn't been a problem and is not a problem today. Ryan Roberts, head coach, said, I feel like if you nail a triple series, sometimes you get some favors from the judges in other areas. So that's really Georgia's philosophy in adding some of that extra difficulty that you see throughout their routines. I love it.
I do too, Sam. I think Georgia does more triple series than any other team here, so I love it and I respect it. Taking big risks.
Harley finishing 1.5, hop to the side, but no major wobbles or deductions on the beam.
Two good routines for Florida so far.
Nicely done from Danny Ferris. Summer Gronsky now in the 3rd spot. 2 9.7s. This has got to go mid 9.8s the rest of the way. They need some 9.9s. They cannot fall too far behind.
Another Yurchenko full in their lineups. Got to rock this landing. Another big vault, but again, another hop back as well. You can see that really showing up in their scores.
LSU with a pair of 9.8375s. Now Madison Ulrich, the transfer from Denver, here in the 3rd spot. Tremendous athlete, been outstanding for the Denver Pioneers earlier in her career, now trying to bring that over to LSU.
And Madison, nice first handstand, good pack salto. Madison's gotten 10.99 or better this year. Looking for her to help out this team right now. They haven't broken a 9.9 on bars yet.
Got to get this landing.
You know, we always say sticks are contagious. It's also contagious the other way. LSU hasn't stuck a bar dismount yet, though.
Khalees Wolford on beam now for Georgia. We saw her have some trouble in the first rotation on uneven bars. Tomlin, a 9.7, so some trouble for Stanford and Georgia here early. Are they going to flinch and let the two top-seeded teams from this session run away with it? We shall see. MJ Frazier now following a 9.875 from Ferris.
When we talked to the Georgia coaches, they said that the freshman class is the class that's really been pushing everybody throughout this season. They've been a game changer.
MJ opening up with a double layout, body stretch throughout.
Khalees finishing double full. Man, Georgia, 50% of Georgia's lineups are underclassmen. They say they do a lot of mental training, but it's really tough to simulate an environment like the national championships on podium with this much pressure.
And you think about what Georgia did this year and the progress they made with a young class like that, a young roster. Kind of could be impressive what the years to come are for the Georgia Bulldogs. We'll see.
Solid landing for MJ, especially at the end of the routine when you're tired. Takes a lot of endurance. Well done for controlling that so well. I think MJ sets herself apart for her flexibility. Her straddle jump, her heels are closer to her head. Judges love to see that.
She's just a total package. It has the artistry, the power.
So 3 scores in the 9.7s in a row for the Stanford Cardinal. This was moments ago. This is Ui Soma, the sophomore.
Another Yurchenko full. Again, emphasis on these landings. Good hip position. Nice vault, but they gotta stick the landings to just start chipping away at these top 2 teams.
Madison Ulrich, just a 9.775. Now Kaylin Chio, the #1 gymnast in the all-around in the nation, takes to the bars. The only event, by the way, she has not gotten a 10 in her career.
And Kaylin starting off with excellent handstand positions. She actually struggled a little bit in practice yesterday, but this is what makes Kaylin a superstar, is these release moves like this, elbow straight. You would never know. Yesterday was a little bit of a tough day in practice for her. Was a little bit slower than we're used to seeing. I'm not sure if she just didn't get off the bar correctly, but the judges will definitely take off for that. I'm not sure if she slipped.
Jada Battle now on the balance beam. Yeah, you mentioned the struggles of Kaylin Chio yesterday in training. I think it got a lot more attention than maybe it should have. A lot of people looking around wondering, man, what's wrong with Kaylin Chio? When you're that good, the expectations in the bar get set unreasonably high. She had a bad workout day, but a lot of people are talking about it.
Totally. It's normal human to have a tough day, but she has so much pressure on her, so it's got to be tough.
Florida Gators rolling on this floor rotation. Frazier, a 9.9375. Now it's Sky Blakely in the 4 spot. They are going to move ahead, if things stay this way, ahead of LSU for that top spot after this rotation.
Left-hand side of your screen, Jada Battle, strong series.
Judges will take off for that uncontrolled, very difficult and impressive double front that Sky Blakely did.
Jada Battle rocked her beam routine. I thought it was so interesting. Cecile Landy right there asked her, hey, I need someone to stay on the beam, can you? And she said, yeah, I can. And she's been proving it.
I love it. Love the confidence. Right now, we've got Florida moving ahead of LSU from 2-1. We've got Georgia moving ahead of Stanford from 4-3. The question is, can Georgia get enough? Can they get enough big scores to maybe put some pressure on that second spot? Kaylin Chio, a 9.8, so no scores of 9.9 or better for LSU. Is it LSU that Georgia's going to be coming after for that 2 spot? This meet's not over.
Yeah, we're talking about landings over there for Stanford, but you got to notice the landings for LSU on bars as well.
Great correction for Sky. It's a good problem to have. That first tumbling pass is by far one of the most difficult tumbling passes that we are seeing here. She just overshot it so slightly.
I think we got a wink from Sky Blakely, too, on that last little arm motion. We got a wink there. You know she's feeling it if you're winking. Anna Roberts now, they've got to have a big one, and she is capable of it. She's been the NCAA vault champion. Got to go perfect to deliver some hope to the Cardinal.
Well, she's been perfect twice on this vault. Oh.
Man, and she was going for perfect.
Not today. Sometimes when you go too hard for that stick, but she is normally so incredible there.
So Haley Mastari, the freshman, in on bars. She did well at the regional for them, and Jay Clark said, let's leave her in. Here she is.
And this is only Haley's 4th time competing here, so doesn't have as much experience. Gorgeous pirouette, just a slight arch. Could take off half a tenth for that, but the toe point is really what sets her apart.
They cannot stick a landing over there, Allie.
Beautiful full-in dismount, but unfortunately another deduction for that dismount.
But did you guys see that series? Back handspring, huge layout, step out. She gets so much height off the beam.
Yeah, Kamara Williams, another sensational freshman, one of the best freshmen in the nation this year for the Gym Dogs.
She came to college just on December 11th, missed the entire preseason, competed with them 2 days later. So coaches really say she's been MVP this year for how quickly she's adjusted, not just to the gymnastics portion, but also to school. She was homeschooled before as well. And when you watch her compete, I know we just saw her have one little wobble, but man, she has been so consistent, so poised is really the word I like to use to describe this outstanding freshman. She's also scored a 9.975 on this event. Not going to be that score here today, but still a strong number for Georgia and really good experience for this freshman.
Kayla DiCello for the Gators on floor. 9.85 for Blakely. So Allie got her for that uncontrolled landing that you had mentioned, but that's her low score. I don't think they're sweating that one at this point.
And Kayla DiCello and Sky Blakely were both athletes that unfortunately got injured at the 2024 Olympic trials. It was gut-wrenching. They were both supposed to be on that team. So I know how much this national championship means to them.
Terralyn Wynn, she was the hero for the Stanford Cardinal at the regional. She had to nail this vault. She stuck it, and that is what, pun intended, vaulted the Cardinal here to the NCAA semifinal.
1.5, but really overextended on her knees, anticipated the landing too soon. That's what you saw, that under rotation, and you really want to bend your knees also for safety there on those 1.5s.
Yeah, Sam, same thing on floor. On all of these landings, you want to have a safe bend in the knee. You do not want to land lock-legged. So it's really difficult to time having straight legs in that layout we saw from Kayla and then bending at the last second.
They rested Kayla at regionals, and man, she looks fresh. That's what I gotta say.
Kayla DiCello, like Sky Blakely, such inspirational stories, both on the path to the Olympic team in 2024. Sky Blakely pretty much on that team. She just had to stay healthy and stay upright through those trials. Kayla DiCello very likely would have been on there as well. Both of them suffered Achilles injuries and that dream ended. We're hoping to see them maybe make a run at 2028. Now Joffrey Scott in the anchor spot. Huge routine for the Georgia Bulldogs. You can see the scores for LSU have not been huge. Can they make a move? Connor McLean, right hand of your screen, returns to the scene of the crime from regionals. This is where she injured that arm. Is she healthy? Can she deliver a big one in a big moment?
And this is the skill right here where she fell at regionals. She wasn't able to finish the routine or the competition. So impressed with Connor's ability to be able to be so precise. Hard not to get into your head after you have a fall like she did. Wow. Stuck that dismount. Sam, we were talking about bending those legs. Would have loved to have seen her bend those legs for just a safer landing. But they needed that routine, LSU. The first stick we've seen of that rotation.
Well, hopefully you guys can see two things at once, because this beam routine has been on point. Cecile Landy said a big reason why she got teary-eyed after they made it to regionals was this athlete right here. She's a senior. She's so incredible, and this is her first time at the national championships. And Cecile Landy could not believe it, because that's how amazing she is, but watch this front foot on the landing. She completely lands with her heel off, only with the back foot on the beam, saves herself a fall. That'll probably only just be a 0.5 of a deduction there.
I don't want to overstate, but maybe a meat-saving save right there for the Georgia Bulldogs. Now Selena Harris-Miranda, the last competitor of the teams competing, and she is tremendous here. This is the only event in her career that she has not gotten a 10, which is shocking because she's outstanding on this event.
So much power on that double tuck. Just bounce out of it. Judges do not want to see you move your front or back foot.
Yurchenko 1.5. Cameron Smith from Ohio State. She just drills the landing man. You know, Stanford wishes that they had one of those tuck landings in their roster.
Watch how high Selena gets. Keeps her chest nice and open. That is a perfectly controlled landing. It's hard not to over-rotate when you're so excited and you have the adrenaline.
You were wondering, Ava Sorrento, the senior from Toronto, Canada, now for the Stanford Cardinal. Levi Young, who Evivar led off with a 9-9. That is exactly what they need to do. They need to go 9-9s wire to wire and just get a little help from the teams in front of them, and they're back in this.
And Ava's going to end with a double layout, which is a dismount we've seen a lot today. Judges are going to be watching over 50 routines today. A lot of these double layouts. So as an athlete, how can you stand out? Just that, I'm guessing, 1/10 step on that dismount right there. And watch her shoulder position, elbows extended. Judges want to see you at that horizontal, could be close. They're watching it in real time. This is the closest view that we have to the judges' angle.
Aaron Williams' score just coming in at 9.8625 in that leadoff spot. And now for the Georgia Bulldogs, Chenge Bakchoi, the senior. Still waiting for that Kylie Cohen score to come in. They might be discussing that connection that we were discussing. We'll see how that compares to Aaron Williams' score. Did Georgia make up ground? Did they not?
Difficult full twisting double back. Georgia's been working with a sports psychologist, and they actually Zoomed with their sports psych last night, right before dinner. It's been cool to learn about how these athletes have had to, the experience of being able to understand the routine before the routine. The sports psych is helping them figure out to prepare. You know you're going to feel nervous, so what are things you can have in your back pocket to help you in these moments right here?
Lexi Zeiss, left hand of your screen. If you were wondering, Kylie Cohen, you can see it now. 9.7875 advantage. Georgia by almost 1/10 of a point.
And on floor, a very difficult 2.5 punch front. One of my favorite tumbling passes to see. You've got to take off at just the perfect moment to get it.
Big wobble from Lexi on the left-hand side of the screen. And, you know, 9.7 plus is not a bad beam score, but if LSU wants to stay in that comfortable place, they really got to start building off of those scores and hopefully drop the 9.7.
I tell you what, I'm gonna disagree with you, Sam. I think that is a bad score because the way Georgia is going to roll on this floor rotation, if they count that, they are in trouble, and it's going to be razor thin going into that last rotation, I think.
You know, head coach Jay Clark said it's not a matter of who wants it. He said be careful how much you want it. If you want it too much, that's where issues can happen.
Big release move from Sienna Robinson on bars.
Lexi went really fast into that wolf turn, man. She is fighting, and it's such a mental game. You do these skills hundreds in the gym, hundreds of these routines perfectly, but in these moments, you're battling your mind, trying to stay in the moment.
Gorgeous dismount for Sienna Robinson on bars.
It's so tough when you wobble and you know you can do it without a wobble. And so the difficult mental part of that is you got to throw it away, throw that thought away and stay in the moment. Easier said than done for us.
Skylar Drazer at a 9.7875. They did nail her on that big step on the landing. MJ Frazier, one of the toughest vaults being done in women's collegiate gymnastics right here.
Yeah, vault is a 3 skills. Head coach Jenny Rowland said, you want to see the round off here, back handspring, and then 2 twists off. The round off is really good. That back handspring, she has arm bend there and twists a bit early off the table, but she is so quick. She's able to get her chest up really strong on the landing.
And hats off to MJ for doing that. That's the type of vault we see at the Olympic Games.
Bakshkoy for Georgia, a 9.85, so 2 scores, mid 9.8s. This is Addie Wall now. Can they build on it while LSU struggling on the balance beam?
Loved the way that Addie landed vertical, chest up. Addie's going to do a front through to a double tuck. Addie hasn't scored below a 9.8 the entire season. Looks like she's on that track again today.
When we asked head coach Ryan Roberts about what he thought his chances and the team's chances were for advancing, he said, you know, we only got to beat 2 teams and we think it's doable. And if these scores keep building, they're putting themselves in a good contention to be one of the top 2 teams to advance.
The pressure is big time on Amari Drayton right here. She is ranked 17th in the nation after the regular season on this event, but she is following 2 scores in the 9.7s to start off this rotation. They're going to count one of them. The Tiger Nation better hope they don't count 2.
Yeah, got to start working angry beam. That first switch half I saw really solid. She's got to think about pressing down here on her series. No issues there. Sometimes powerful athletes can just pop off the beam, and you have to put an extra emphasis on being patient on the landing, especially on the podium when the beam can have a little bit of an extra bounce there.
Anna Roberts, right hand of your screen, ranked 20th in the nation on this, has gone 9.975 this season, flirted with that 10. Need to do that again here for the Cardinal.
Yeah, John, and Anna's off to a great start with that handstand, held it right on top of the bar.
Amari just a scooch back on the landing, but that is going to be a score they needed.
And Anna, I didn't see any deductions while she was on that bar. Could be up to a 10th, half a 10th for that step back, but she should be thrilled with that.
MJ Frazier for the Gators, 9.875. A good score for her. 3 to go for them. DeCello Ferris and Harris Miranda. Here is DeCello.
Man, something happened throughout the middle of the season with Kayla, and you could just see in her demeanor, the confidence is just exuding from her, and you can see it on all of the events she competes, doing her Yurchenko 1.5. Want to see bent knees on the landing. Wow, a little bit wonky coming off the table, but she was able to adjust and make it to her feet. Just the landing deductions.
We got our first wonky reference. Maybe later we'll go to Mary Jo and ask where wonky is in the Coda points. Here's Harley Tomlin now on floor exercise. And 9.9 for Addie Wall. Do the math on the right side of your screen. Georgia's low score is almost a 10th higher than both of LSU's scores so far.
And this tumbling pass for Harley is so difficult. Arabian right into that. Could not have done that better. That Arabian double front is so difficult because her feet are hitting the floor before she can see where she is. Amazing body awareness.
The score in for Drayton, by the way, 9.8625. So their biggest score so far. That matches Aaron Williams' leadoff score. So still advantage in this rotation for Georgia, but still slightly behind the LSU Tigers overall. Now Kalia Lincoln takes the beam. As much as they've struggled on beam, they've got 3 athletes that their potential is 10s. Every one of them. The last 2 have gone 10, Connor McLean and Caitlin Chio. They're going to have to live up to that reputation now.
Yeah, I mean, LSU is the number 2 ranked beam team in the country, so they can put up high numbers. But man, broken connection. Mary Jo, jump in and talk about the impact of that broken connection on our series.
It's really going to affect her start value. So hopefully she has more bonus than what she actually needs. Plus, it's going to take away a special requirement of not having an acro series. So we'll see how that adds up by the end of the routine.
She took a deep breath and she's being a bit more slow in her rhythm. So I'm curious if she's going to repeat the combination connection or if she has a back handspring layout that she can throw in. Sometimes athletes have a second series in their back pocket. You can tell she's thinking right now because she knows she lifted that back foot, so it's not even a question mark on whether or not she might get the connection. Looks like she's gearing up for the dismount. Oh, missed opportunity right there.
And she knows it. And she also had a break in it. And it so to your point, usually we see that. We'll see him try it again, but it didn't pay off for Kalia Lincoln there. Danny Ferris, the junior, follows a 9.8625. So much emphasis on Georgia and LSU right now. Florida's just humming along here on vault.
Yurchenko 1.5, slightly under-rotated. I thought she was going to get the stick. She has been so solid in the middle of this lineup throughout the season.
Harley Tomlin, another 9-9 with 2 counting scores for LSU and Georgia in this rotation. Obviously, we're waiting for another score to come in for LSU. We'll compare those, but they had shrunk the lead to .1225, so over half of the margin is eaten away so far in this rotation.
And that double layout is new for Nyla, but you would never know because she does it so well. Looks like she's on a trampoline. And if you're not familiar with gymnastics, the floor does have a little bounce to it, but it's nowhere close to the bounce of a trampoline.
Yeah, Nyla Aquino, sophomore out of Boston, Mass, ranked in the top 25 in the nation on this event.
And Nyla's gotten 3 9.925 pluses in a row. Looks like we're going to see the same thing today.
This routine is so fun. I was talking to her yesterday about it, and she said, my parents raised me on 90s hip hop, so I wanted to add music that made me feel authentically me, and that's what I hope people watch when they see this. She actually gets her parents' help on which floor musics to add in to her routine each year. How special is that?
Yeah, and if you're wondering, one of her parents is Mike Tomlin, the former head coach. Sorry, I'm wrong athlete. Harley Tomlin went right before that. My mistake. Thank you, Sam. But maybe she helps too. Maybe
it's a team effort. All the family has helped pick the music. She has been such an asset, such a vocal leader for this team, the heartbeat. If you look at any of their huddles, it's the energy, the positivity that she brings. And I got to just say, actually spent most of her time as an Excel gymnast, which you don't see very often. She was only a level 10 for 2 years.
It seems like Georgia's really settled into the competition. They just look like they're at practice having fun.
Uisoma now on the uneven bars in the anchor spot for Stanford. 9.8375 for Barbosu before her, and then Robertson 9.8625. So good scores, but just too much of a mountain to climb.
And she is a superstar at holding her handstand positions. I got to watch her in practice yesterday, and she just held it up there for 10, 15 seconds. I tried to ask her for the secret, but she wouldn't give it to me. This double layout dismount. Breathtaking routine, just that small hop backwards.
Man, I'm going to go on record and say there's something fishy over there on the bar landing mat. We can't see a stuck landing on bars to save our lives here.
Well, we've seen some fishy stuff on bars here at the NCAA Championships in the past with the bar settings wrong and the podium needing to be fixed. So it's not out of the question, but certainly the bar landings have not been on point, certainly compared to what we've seen during the regular season. Danny Ferris, a 9.825, still looking for the first 9.9 vault for the Florida Gators. Someone who is certainly capable of it is Selena Harris-Miranda. Like Caitlin Chio, she's got an unbelievable knack for sticking this vault.
Finishing Yurchenko 1.5. She spots the landing by looking over her shoulder. Look at her chin.
Oh, almost.
So close.
And that cock backwards towards the table is an automatic additional 1/10 under rotation deduction.
Wow, Georgia is set up for a big-time exclamation point. We told you we're going to see her in this rotation. It's Kamara Williams, one of the best in the nation right here, looking for a big-time finish.
Wow, that double layout was exceptional. Go ahead, Sam.
Is Georgia going to make it to the NCAA finals? Man, it looks like they want it here.
Well, I don't think there's going to be much doubt unless something miraculous happens at the end of that beam rotation for LSU. I think they're going to be in that second spot. LSU is going to be on the outside looking in.
And she's just a freshman. All 5 freshmen have contributed, and that's just not normal across the board.
Yeah, Sam, Kamara is actually one of the youngest competing in the entire competition, which I think is so impressive. You would never know. It's as if she's been here for years.
Yeah, her teammate said that she just came in confident, and you can't teach that, I don't think.
Well, she's got a 9.975 3 times this season. And looking from the scores that Georgia's gotten, I think this is going to be one of the highest scores they've gotten so far today.
Connor McLean about to mount the beam. Taylor?
Well, after Kalia Lincoln's score came in 9.425, I'm sensing a little bit of nerves down here by the LSU.
Her face when she lands and steps off, it's that big, deep breath that she knew how much her team needed that routine.
Jumping over to the vault for our individuals. Tori Vetter from Ohio State here in her 3rd event of her all-around competition. She's had a solid night tonight.
Yeah, what a senior year she's been having. Yurchenko full. Did you see how high she got off the table? Didn't quite get the stick there, but man, that was a really good block and nice showcase of height.
Another Michigan State athlete competing today. This is Gabby Ortiz, junior out of Tampa, Florida, and LaFleur's Tampa Gymnastic Club down there.
Very close to going out of bounds right there. I don't think I saw a flag go up, but if she did in good body awareness to keep her heel up.
That score tower, by the way, you can see Kamara Williams score 9.9375, matching scores to finish. What a rotation for the Gators, or for the Gym Dogs.
Michigan State has been a team to watch for me. I've been so impressed with how well they've been doing.
Connor McLean, a 9.95. Now with Kamara Williams score in, Chio needs to do a 9.925 again for LSU to stay ahead of Georgia. She's gotten a 10 on this event 5 times this season. She has been as solid as any gymnast on any event in 2026 on this event balance beam. But no pressure has been as big as it is right now for Kaylin Chio and LSU.
First test, back handspring layout. Oh man, her heel was off the end, and just seeing a slight wobble for her is strange, I would say. And we asked head coach Jay Clark how she's been managing the outside pressure, the outside noise of all of her success this year. And he said, you know, she's been doing a good job taking the spotlight off of her, putting it on her teammates, but you can't do that when you're the only one on balance beam. You know, different than sports like basketball or soccer where you could pass the ball. Guess what? There's no passing the ball when you're the anchor on balance beam here, and it's all up to you.
And the thing about gymnastics is there's no rebound either. You can, in basketball, you can take a shot and miss, and your teammate will put it back. Guess what? You cannot not only miss, you have to swish every shot. That is what gymnastics is, and that is what is on Kaylin Chio's shoulders right now.
But look at her eyes. She is locked in. After that wobble, she said, not today, and she's going to lock in on this landing just like that. It might not be the highest score we've seen, and you can just see from her look how frustrated she is. But man, I think she...
On the inside looking out on an event like vault, we've seen teams press on vault. We've seen teams try to stick landings. When you try too hard, you just don't stick. And in fact, you take bigger deductions. So how will they handle it? We're about to find out Here is Geoffrey Scott.
Now, I think Georgia's going to let it rip. They came in as the underdogs. They're going to be aggressive. I know that's the message to this team. Heading to the last event here. Can't do a Yurchenko full better than that. Straight arms on the table, big pop, good position. They are setting themselves up for success here with that first vault.
Yeah, a scooch. We call that little bit a scooch, probably a half a tenth. We'll see what the judges do with it. MJ Frazier. Now, Florida Gators, we've kind of said they're in, but that's dangerous too. They're just slightly more than 2/10 ahead of LSU, by the way. How crazy is that? So they've got to stay on. They stay on, they're in. But hey, many a slip cooks a cup and a lip. You got to hit.
And for MJ, this is a newer role for MJ to start off this team this season, but she's gone 8 scores of 9-9 or better. Just that hop backwards could be up to 1/10 of a deduction.
She's currently sitting number 1 in the all-around as well.
And Sam, it's because of these skills right here, above horizontal on the high bar, what the judges are looking for. And then watch the precision of this double layout. Arms are tight, legs are tight. And just that hop backwards.
Yeah, going back to the finish of that last rotation, we had Nyla Aquino, Kamara Williams for Georgia on floor. They put up the 2 highest scores. They're tied for the top spot on floor exercise. Meanwhile, Connor McLean put up the top spot on balance beam. What a finish to a tight. MJ Frazier is tied as well with the Georgia gymnasts, but they have put up that top score at a moment when they really needed it. Emily Innes now for LSU, leading things off. Score tower on your right, Georgia at the top, LSU at the bottom. Those are the 2 teams right now fighting over that second spot.
Emily does a beautiful job waiting a beat when she sets before she starts twisting.
Second vaulter to go for Georgia. Chenge Bakshikoy now follows a 9.85 from Scott.
The goal here is minimizing landings. 1.5, hop forward.
It's so hard as an athlete. They train years and years for these moments, but no matter how much you practice, it is so hard to simulate and imagine what this pressure moment feels like.
Even though Emily's a senior, she's a transfer, so she doesn't quite have the amount of experience at a national championship that maybe some other seniors here do.
Yeah, transfer from Washington. Big Ten all-conference selection on floor exercise, and that is what she is contributing here to the LSU Tigers. Great start.
Yeah, we talk about wanting to start on a 9-9 plus for an opening leadoff routine, and I'm guessing Emily's going to be in that 9-9 range. LSU is going to be very happy with that.
Got a big hug from associate head coach Courtney McCool-Griffith. Olympic silver medalist as well on her resume. Her husband, Garrett Griffith, the main vault coach for LSU. And, of course, there's head coach Jay Clark. Now back over to the bars. MJ Frazier, 9.825 in the leadoff spot. Now Anya Pilgrim in the 2 spot. 9.8s are just fine if you're the Florida Gators. Wow, just want to avoid major mistakes.
And this connection right here for Anya is so difficult. That backswing was way above the horizontal, better than any that we've seen so far today.
But missing the vertical position on that first cast from high to low, and then again here. Timing looks a bit off, Allie.
There's a stuck landing, though. How about that?
That was a beautiful dismount. Great adjustment. See if the rest of the Florida athletes stick their dismounts on bars now from Anya.
Emily Ennis, a 9.8625 in the leadoff spot. Geoffrey Scott led off with a 9.5. Slight advantage for the LSU Tigers. And when I say slight, that is nothing slight in this competition. They only trailed by 0.025.
Look at this landing. Oh, man, she normally lands that so solid. That was uncharacteristic for her to be so low on the double layout. Missed the punch.
It will be interesting to see what the judges do. They could take a 10th to a 10th and a half. Looked like her knees were actually kind of close to hitting the floor. It's hard in these moments when you're striving for perfection. These athletes know it's going to come down to these minute details. It's hard to go for the stick because sometimes you hold back.
It's really emotion management here. You're wanting to control your adrenaline, but you can't overcorrect.
Avery Mall now the third gymnast for Georgia, following that 9.8375.
Gotta get a stick. Yurchenko 1.5, close.
Wow, wanted it.
She was the athlete that head coach Ryan Roberts said has saved them so many times on vault.
And Nina's last tumbling pass was flawless.
For Georgia.
Yeah, I tell you what, three vaulters to go for Georgia. They get a stick or two, and I don't care how good LSU is on floor. That might be enough to put it away. Sky Blakely, sensational on this. World finalist just last fall here on the uneven bars.
And we've been calling all season for Sky to get a 10 on this event, and she scored one at regionals. The way that her body is so extended and stretched all the way from her fingers to her toes. Most difficult dismount being done in the entire competition.
Wow.
Where do you take off? Somehow Sky gets better and better every time we watch her.
She's good. Sienna Robinson, left hand of your screen, top 20 in the nation on beam for Stanford. This is their third gymnast. All good scores, but again, they were really far out of that second spot. Needed a lot of help from the teams in front of them, so the drama has kind of shifted, as we've talked about, but they're still trying to finish on a positive note here.
Well, I love watching Sienna on balance beam. She is just such a natural beam worker. You could see she was actually a little bit off on that side aerial, but adjusted so fast so it didn't affect her connection. It's the little moments like that that I notice from Sienna that makes her so strong on this event.
Sam, I agree. Sienna's a competitor. She had to go after regionals.
Kylie Cohen, third to go for LSU. Ballou, a 9.775. Cannot count that score.
And strong stick from Sienna. Hopefully you saw the moonwalk too. That's always so fun. And you can't forget about the stick, Sally.
Kylie Cohen opening up with a front handspring double twist. Nice extension in her body.
Nyla Aquino was sensational on the floor exercise. Can she bring that momentum to vault? The stick here would be huge.
Big block.
Oh!
Good. Flare out. That's what they needed. She's the heartbeat of this team. Her teammates tell her, you got it in the bag before she even starts running. She said there's not much to it. They trust me and I trust myself, and helps her put up vaults like that.
And she just about took co-head coach Cecile Concuto-Landy right off the podium there with that celebration.
And I always wonder for Kylie on floor right now, if she's able to see out of the corner of her eye or hear the excitement from Georgia. It's hard not to get distracted with so much noise and other events going on in the arena.
Sky Blakely, 9.975 on bars. That is the top score on bars so far.
She gets good block off the table. Legs are glued to the very last second, but you can see as she's coming over the top, she really spots the ground for a while. That is great.
Cecile, I don't know if she saw that in the job description when she took the job. They got to be careful.
I want to see the slow-mo version of her jumping into Cecile's arms.
Let's go over to bars and Taylor.
John, you said it. So much fixation for us here with LSU and Georgia. Florida's just been quietly over here doing what they need to do to see this thing to fruition and end up in the championship. And for Kayla DiCello, that's exactly what she's had her sights set on. The return from 2 brutal surgeries, years out of college competition. And she told me ending it on the championship floor is exactly what they set out to do.
Thanks, Taylor. Yeah, they are rolling over here. Kayla and Sky, a dynamic duo for them, and they've really come on here late in the season.
And Kayla has been such a rock. The consistency that she has had this season for this team is phenomenal.
Owen likes it.
Owen Field there, the primary bar coach for the Florida Gators. Power over there. Slight advantage if you're counting 2 scores, but Nyla Aquino put up a 9.925. Amari Drayton's got to match or beat that.
And she can. Just last week scored a 9.95 on floor.
Oh, and here we go. They're both going at the exact same time. Here's Addie Wall in the 5 spot. They've got to get clean landings if they want to advance.
Doing a Yurchenko 1.5. Clean vault, hop forward.
At least 1/10.
And you don't want to leave it to question on the landings with the judges. That's why you want to stick, so they don't take anything more than they have to.
Amari finishing with a front through to double tuck. Nice vertical set on that. That could be LSU's highest floor score of the day.
She's been so solid on this event, and for her heel coming up, good job holding on to the landings.
One thing about LSU on floor, they do not go quietly on this event. They bring big-time gymnastics. So if they're going to make it, they're going to make it on big gymnastics. Here's Selena Harris Miranda. Got a 10 on this event at the SEC Championships. Follows Cello's 9-9.
She sure did, John, and it's because of these handstands right there. Does it better than most people in the world.
9.75 clinches the final for the Florida Gators. That is like getting up to brush your teeth in the morning for Selena Harris Miranda. It's easy. Done.
They're going.
I could tell by the way she let go of her dismount. She just floated to the ground.
Kaylin Chio has gotten 10s on this event. She's gotten 10s on every event except bars, as we mentioned earlier, but 9.9375 for Mari Drayton. We said she had to match or beat Nyla Aquino. She does it. She beats the score of Nyla Aquino. That is advantage LSU with 2 to go here. Addie Wall a 9.8875 in the 5 spot. Can Kaylin Chio match or beat that?
I think she can, John. There was absolutely no deduction on that first tumbling pass. Kaylin is one of those athletes where you're going to have a hard time finding someone who's more competitive than her. She wants to advance to the finals.
Kamara Williams, the freshman. Who would have thought? The end of the day, it all comes down on the shoulders of a freshman who just arrived in January, where here it is. Kamara Williams, can you get the Gym Dogs into the NCAA finals?
I've seen her stick this Yurchenko 1.5 so many times.
Oh, she tried. She wanted it, Sam. We've seen it before, but just that hop backwards.
Big test right here for Kaylin Chio. Does that pass better than anybody else?
And LSU's head coach Jay Clark said, man, you know what sets us apart is the back four in all of our lineups. And they've got Amari, Kaylin, Kalia, and you take that Kylie Cohen score too. It's pretty phenomenal.
Well, I said Amari was going to have the highest score so far from LSU. I think Kaylin's going to beat that 9.9375.
Well, I've seen Chio do that routine.
Had that stick.
Yeah, she was looking at the floor and you saw her arms go up. She really wanted it. Maybe she had to have it. We're not sure, but it still might be good enough. We'll see. It's not over. Here's Riley McCusker on bars, just putting a little icing on the cake.
And Riley has had to wait the entire competition to go up last. Not easy to wait the entire time. Going to finish with a double tuck. Wow.
Owen turned around at the judges, or maybe the crowd, and said, what do you want? They are so good.
It would be the hardest part.
Jenny with a big hug for Riley McCusker. What a journey it's been for that athlete. They will be in the finals. There's another team that will be in the finals. And with that Kamara Williams 9.7625, which, man, the judges really found something I didn't see. And you combine that with the Kaylin Chio 9.9625, the LSU Tigers are going to advance. But wow, did the drama come right down to the end. Kalia Lincoln, she will get to go. She's gotten a 10, her first 10 on this event at regionals. This one's just for show, though.
Well, she could go for an individual floor title. Right now, her teammate Kaylin Chio is in that spot, but if Kalia goes 10, it's hers.
Guys, this entire rotation, Kalia's been down here jogging around on the floor. I asked her why. She said, I have to keep my energy at bay so I can do this thing right.
I love it. She is one that she can easily have too much energy. She's got to dial it back a little bit. She's got that much power.
Yeah, she probably doesn't know that LSU has already clinched that second spot.
You mentioned the individual title, Sam. Kalia Lincoln and Caitlin Chio currently tie for that top spot on vault. Caitlin Chio sits in the top spot on floor right now. Can they share a second title? Obviously, we have another session to go later today, but that would be something.
Second flip rises after the first. Exactly what judges are looking for. That's going to be a big score. Looked like Kalia just moved one of her feet ever so slightly. Wondering if the judges will take a half tenth, but going to be a massive score. I'm guessing 9.95.
Yeah, one of the most explosive athletes in the entire country. And the way that she's been able to elevate herself this year and lock into those landings, it really sets her apart.
Well, the #2 team in the nation, they were favored. If you're looking on